Hey everyone, my name is Wedge, and once again you guys decided you wanted a budget modern deck tech. Who would have thunk it? Without further ado, here's almost the entire stock blue-red Storm deck for less than the price of one Tarmogoyf. So you have a little bit to go on. Storm is a deck designed around the mechanic of the same name. The idea is you play a bunch of spells in one turn, chaining them together, then casting a gigantic Storm card like Grapeshot or Empty the Warrens. Let's get to it. The mana base for this deck is pretty simple. Playsets of both Shivan Reef and City of Brass give you enough flexibility to produce whichever color you need. The rest of the lands in the deck are just 5 islands and 3 mountains. 16 lands total. That's a turn 3 combo deck for you. There's only one creature in the deck. A full playset of Goblin Electromancer is exactly what you want in a deck that's designed to cast a billion instants and sorceries in one turn. Just makes sense. The rest of the deck is made up of 40 spells. This is going to be fun. We'll start with the card draw and hand manipulation spells. 4 Gitaxian Probe join 4 Serum Visions, 4 Sleight of Hand, and 4 Thought Scour as the only blue spells in the deck. They only have 2 things in common. First, they draw you cards. Second, they all cost 1 mana or less to cast. Very important. There are 2 more card draw spells in the deck. 4 Manamorphose and 3 Desperate Ravings provide some pretty great card advantage. The Manamorphose basically draws you a card for free, and Desperate Ravings ups your storm count, and even though you have to discard a card at random, whatever's left over you'll probably be casting immediately anyways. Next we have the ritual effects. These cards all cost mana to add even more mana to your pool. They're used to up your storm count while making it easier to keep chaining spells together and not run out of mana. 4 Desperate Ritual and 4 Pyretic Ritual help you get enough mana to do pretty much anything you want. Manamorphose also fits into this group of cards. It's basically amazing is what I'm saying. On to the hilarious parts of the deck. 4 Pyromancer Ascension are amazing here. Since you run so many copies of all your spells, it isn't hard to get the counters on this you need. Once you have the Ascension active, the game's probably over. Being able to double cast a Manamorphose, Serum Visions, Desperate Ritual, or basically anything else is just backbreaking. It adds to your storm count even faster and gives you insane value. 3 Past in Flames gives you back all the spells you just cast. What? You only cast 12 spells this turn? Oh no! Here's a Past in Flames. Game over. The card gives disturbing amounts of value. It's like Snapcaster Mage, but with a shot of adrenaline to the heart. The last card in the main deck is your win condition, a pair of Grapeshot. You cast a billion spells in one turn, then just spend 2 mana to play this Lava Dart. The only real difference between this and Lava Dart is that this just happens to copy itself for every spell you've played this turn. Grapeshot is the cornerstone of this deck. You're playing Grapeshot. The point of this deck is to chain spells. You use your cantrips to get the cards you need, then just go off. For instance, there are situations where you can play, let's say, Goblin Electromancer, Manamorphose, Desperate Ritual, Pyretic Ritual, Desperate Ritual, Grapeshot, Past in Flames, all those things you just cast all over again, then that same Grapeshot. Boom! Insta-kill. Let's talk matchups. Aggressive decks can be a problem since you lack interaction game 1. There are some people that make judgment calls in main deck lightning bolts, but they do take away from your combo going off as early as possible. These aggressive strategies just need to win before you can go off. They'll attack quickly and without reservation since they assume you have nothing to do against them. Truth is, just try to get your combo off. You can't fight them on the ground or race them in a fair game. You need the combo to win. Specific aggressive strategies like Hate Bears are a serious problem for you. Thalia, Guardian of Thraben is a thorn in your side game 1. The Electromancer evens the scales, but still not something you want to deal with. This is where you board in Lightning Bolt and Anger of the Gods. They're both great spells against any aggressive strategy. Since you aren't racing another combo deck, you can use a little more time game 2 to try to control the board. This is probably the only time I'll ever suggest holding back in a combo deck like this, but even then, if you see a window, take it. Another popular matchup for Storm is going to be Birthing Pod strategies. This functions very similarly to matchups against other aggressive decks. Pretty straightforward. Bring in Anger of the Gods, Lightning Bolt, kill them, done. Other combo decks are interesting to play against, specifically Splinter Twin. You'll want to sideboard in a few Echoing Truth to deal with their combo the turn they try to go off with it. You can also side in something like Defense Grid to devalue counterspells. The best thing you can do against these strategies is to wait for a position where you can just go crazy. they'll need to play Splinter Twin at some point. That's when you want to take advantage. It's all about opportunity against blue decks. To win, they need to have their shields down. It's just how it is. To clarify something really fast, blue decks aren't going to be waiting to counter your Grapeshots or empty the Warrens. That wouldn't do very much. If they know how to play Storm or play against it, they'll know what they need to counter to disrupt you. Sometimes it's a Desperate Ritual, sometimes it's a Goblin Electromancer. Either way, they're blue players. They know. If you want to upgrade this deck financially, you're in luck. There isn't much to switch out here. Really all you want to do is pick up the necessary Scalding Tarn, Steam Vents, and maybe a couple Misty Rainforests. Granted, those cards cost more than the rest of the deck put together, but they are important inclusions all the same. What makes this deck so great is the budget version is extremely close to the non-budget version. You're changing the mana base, that's it. Some general sideboard options you should consider. Shattering Spree and Vandal Blast are pretty much the nuts against Affinity. Empty the Warrens is an alternate win condition you can bring in against decks that run Aethersworn Canonist, or basically anything that can potentially stop you from hitting them in the face with Grapeshot. Some cute things. Dragon's Claw is hysterical against Burn. They'll cry as soon as you play it. It's great. Blood Moon is pretty fantastic against Birthing Pod if you can get it out early enough. It's also decent against, well, any deck with fetch lands that doesn't run red. I could talk about this deck a lot more, but the basics are pretty simple. You get enough cards in your hand to cast a ton of spells that draw you more cards, then use Grapeshot. Decks that lack interaction do have their advantages. Easy to learn, hard to master. If you have any questions about matchups or card choices, ask below and I'll be around. The voting for next week's deck tech is going to be a little different. Budget lists are fun and all, but we want to keep you up on not only what you can play, but what you'll be playing against. So we're going to rotate the available format choices so we can get some diversity. This week's format choices are Legacy, Modern, and Standard. Thumbs up whichever one you want to see, and be sure to leave a comment with any thoughts you have about the series, or just to say hi. I like saying hi. As always, subscribe below for the latest and most reliable Magic the Gathering information you could ever need. This is the Mana Source. I'm Wedge. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.